Hey guys, Gringolo1 here. Today I'm going to be showing another Elden Ring build. In this video we'll be going over the Hookclaws. This weapon's really incredible because you can get it just after beating Margit, pretty much at the very entrance of Stormveil Castle, sorta under the stairs. You can actually build this weapon two ways. One has the focus more on the charged R2 and the other has it on the R1s. I would primarily recommend the Charged R2 build as it hits incredibly hard and can stance break extremely quickly. The only problem with this build is that the further you get into the New Game Plus cycles, the worse it is, because bosses get much more poise and become much more punishing for mistakes. This footage you can see in the background is on New Game Plus 2, and because I'm not the best Elden Ring player out there, you'll notice that I didn't get very many stance breaks. The bosses just died too quickly on my plus 25 Hookclaws. If you were using them on Journey 1, you would probably get a lot of stance breaks though. I watched the Gino Machino video where he uses the Hookclaws and he stance breaks like crazy. For the build, we're going to be using the Keen Hookclaws with high dexterity, allowing you to apply lightning grease to boost your DPS even further. Note that in the footage I never used any grease because I didn't really want to take the time to get it. But this also gives you the benefit of letting you use the Misericord, which gives you more crit damage when you're getting all these stance breaks. If you don't want to use grease or the Misericord, you can leave it on default affinity and you'll probably get more DPS, of course depending on your stats. Our Ash of War will be Cragblade, as it provides insane poise damage for the charged R2. If you're using the multi-hit variant of the build, you can use an Ash of War like Barbaric Roar, Bloodhound Step, Cragblade, or even the default Quick Step. Our talismans will be the Axe Talisman for enhanced R2s, Ritual Sword Talisman for better damage at full HP, the Rotten Wingsword Insignia for higher damage on our charged R2, which hits twice, and the Blue Dancer Charm for better damage on our R2s and crits. The Blue Dancer Charm is really great in this build as the Hookclaws are really light, and without wearing any armor, it can give you a buff of over 15% damage. You can, of course, switch any of these talismans for your liking. If you prefer defenses over DPS, removing the Blue Dancer Charm for something like the Erdtree's Favor or Dragon Crest Great Shield is a good choice. You can also remove the Rotten Wingsword Insignia for something like the Claw Talisman or Dagger Talisman depending on your preference. If you're using the multi-hit version of this build, you'll want to use the Lord of Blood's Exaltation for more damage after a bleed proc, Rotten Wingsword Insignia and Millicent's Prosthesis for more damage after successive attacks, the Ritual Sword Talisman for more damage at full health, and also you can put on the White Mask, which will give you more bleed damage after a bleed proc, just like the Lord of Blood's Exaltation. Note that you can change any of the talismans out for more defensive ones if you prefer. Also, you'll probably want to put your Hookclaws on the Blood or Occult affinity, depending on which one gives you higher blood loss buildup based on your stats. To cast our buffs, we'll be using the Frenzied Flame Seal as it has a weight of 0, although you can also replace it for the Finger Seal if you don't have access to the Frenzied Flame Seal, especially since you get it very late into the game and it is locked behind a quest that alternates your ending. Since I was in New Game Plus and I was a really high level, I used Golden Vow and Howl of Shabriri, but at lower levels you'll want to use Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength since you won't need as much faith requirement. For your physic, we're going to be using the Spiked Crack tier for enhanced R2s, and the Stone Barbed Crack tier for higher poise damage. But if you're using the multi-hit version of this build, you'll instead want the Thorny Crack tier for better damage on successive attacks, and Bloodsucking Crack tier for more damage after a bleed proc. If you don't have the DLC, then you can use the Opaline Hard tier for better defense. For our stats, we can keep it pretty simple. You'll want to pump Vigor up to 50 and just enough Mind to cast all your buffs. And for Endurance, you really just want whatever feels comfortable for you. Personally, I like around 20, but if you have some extra stats to move around, you can go up to like 25. For Dex, you want 80 as it's the soft cap, but you can of course go higher if you have extra stats. And that's especially important if you're on the R2 build. However, if you're on the multi-hit build, you would rather focus on Arcane than Dexterity because the stat affects your bleed procs more, so it's more important, especially if you're on the Occult affinity. You can also leave intelligence to the minimum for either version of this build, since it doesn't really matter. And then you either want to get faith to 33 or 25, depending on if you're using Howl of Shabriri or Flame Grant Me Strength. But you could also just leave it at your minimum stat, depending on your class, if you're really just focusing on the bleed procs. If you're on the R2 build, you can leave Arcane at its minimum, but if you're on the multi-hit build, you want to get to 60. Well guys, thank you so much for watching, and that's it for today's video. Let me know how you liked it in the comments, and if you have any requests for any future ideas.